guys, welcome back. The video you're about to watch today is designed to show you how to add surface design with underglaze onto greenware pottery. That means clay that hasn't had a firing yet, so the clay is still soft. This video is designed to come second after the video that shows you how to make one of these three-dimensional pots. My students will be using these two videos to make their Greek shaped inspired pottery, and then using this video to add on an image from Greek mythology along with some Greek style patterning onto their pots. But of course you can watch this video to see how to do sgraffito and how to do a surface design really on any kind of clay, on any greenware. So that's what this video is about. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, so now that my pot has dried a bit more, it's now leather hard, where it's still just a little tiny bit bendable or pliable, but it's holding its own shape all by itself. I took the paper towel roll out of it. It's ready to go ahead and get coated with a black underglaze. So before you do that, you just want to make sure that your surface area is ready to go. I'm kind of just sticking my paintbrush in and getting the two sides to just kind of not stick in so much. But basically, it's holding its shape and it's all ready to be coated. Once you coat this, you can't go back and change it or shape it or fix it up anymore. This is, you know, when you're ready to do your surface design. So you want to really make sure that this is exactly how you want it. If there are any areas that you need to fine-tune, shape a little bit more, anything like that, you need to do that now before you coat it with this black underglaze. But I think that this looks pretty good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a good coat. That's going to be the front, back, and sides. So I'm just going to lay this down. Pour some underglaze out. I'm going to go ahead and get this all painted. Now, the deal with underglaze is you don't want to put a thick coat on there. You want to put a light coat on. And it's okay if it looks a little streaky. And then let it dry and do it. So remember, this is still wet clay. You don't want to keep going over the same area more than once. It will not make it turn more dark. In fact, it will actually make it turn more brown and show more of the clay through, because the moisture from the underglaze, as you rub it back and forth, is just mixing up with the clay and wetting the clay again, and the clay starts to show through. So you just need to do one even coat all the way around. And if you're storing this, you can just set it on something and then loosely wrap it in plastic, because you don't want the clay to dry out completely. And then once it's totally dry, you'll go ahead and do a second coat so it doesn't look quite so streaky. Alright, so now that my black underglaze has a couple coats on it and it's dry and pretty much completely black, I'm ready to start scratching my design in. So I have a few different tools. A needle tool is really more for cutting than drawing. However, if you use it really, really lightly, you can use it to do some fine details. I have a couple different, they look like pencils, but they don't have any lead in them. They're just sharpened sticks or sharpened dowel rods. I have one that's kind of pointy and one that's a little more dull, so that will make two different thicknesses of lines. Then I have one of these wire tools, and this is good for scratching off a big area of underglaze. So the idea is that you're going to scratch the black away to reveal the red clay underneath, and that's what's going to make your design. So you should have a design that you're looking at, whether it's on the internet or something you've sketched up, depending on the requirements for this project, if you're doing this at home for fun or if you're doing this with your teacher. But you need to have something you're looking at as you work, because once you scratch that black off, you've made a permanent mark in your clay. You could go back and repaint the black, but you're scratching into the clay a little bit too. So just go slow, and remember that most of your marks are going to be permanent. Let's see. I guess that's pretty much it. We could go ahead and get started. Also, remember that as you draw and scratch into this, you're only trying to remove the black. You're not trying to make a great big hole in your clay, so you really don't need to push super duper hard, and you'll see what I mean as I go. So try not to rest your hand on this. You will rub off some of the underglaze. I sometimes like to put my hand inside if I can to kind of support it as I draw, and then I'm not rubbing on any of the underglaze from the outside. I'm going to start with just a pattern along the top and bottom to kind of get going and make that a little bit easier for myself. So there's a pattern for the top. Now, of course, if you want your lines thicker, you can go through them again and thicken them up. I'm going to go ahead and do a pattern along the bottom as well. I think I'm going to do the same style of pattern to kind of make my jar look cohesive. Now, the softer your clay, the easier it's going to be to carve into it. So the base of this is actually a little bit softer right now than that top. So you can see it's scratching in a lot easier. My lines are going a lot thicker, a lot easier. So you just want to be careful if you have some areas of your jar that are still pretty wet. The best time to scratch into this is when your jar's basically leather hard. The top of mine is definitely leather hard. The bottom's still a little more wet than that. So remember, leather hard means it has a little bit of flexibility to it, but it's really no longer wet. It's starting to dry out. It's not quite bone dry, but it's not super pliable like it was before. So there's my pattern on the bottom. I think I'm going to wait to dust it off because of how soft the clay is. I don't want to accidentally rub that design out. And then you can go ahead and do your design in the middle. I'm going to do a really simplified version of Medusa's head to go along with some Greek mythology. But remember, this is likely not going to be as detailed as a pencil drawing, so that's why I'm going to try to go for something pretty simple. Alright, now of course, because this is a sculpture, it has more than one side. So even though I'm done with the front, if you want, you can extend those top and bottom patterns around the sides and to the back. You can also use the back to add another image, maybe a complementing image to the image on the front from Greek mythology, or of course you can duplicate what's on the front to the other side, giving your vase two fronts basically. But that's pretty much it.
Alright, that's it. So that's how you add surface design onto your pottery before it's fired using underglaze. Now, of course, this vase isn't fired yet, so it's still greenware. The red is a little bit more brown and a little bit darker than it's going to be after it's fired, so the color will change just slightly, but it'll look pretty much the same. I just wanted to go ahead and make this video before this was fired so that you guys could go ahead and get started. So I hope you enjoyed it, and good luck creating your own. Thanks for watching.